I agreed to marry the blind billionaire for my family's debt. On our wedding night, he asked me a question that exposed the lie everyone had been telling him. At 23, I sold the only thing I had left, my future. My father's company had collapsed. Loan sharks had started visiting our house. My younger brother stopped going to school because he was terrified someone would hurt him. Then a lawyer appeared with an unbelievable proposal. A billionaire named Adrian Blackwood needed a wife. 1 year, a legal marriage, no romance, no expectations. In return, every debt my family owed would disappear. There was only one catch. Adrian was blind. The media called him the tragic billionaire. His family insisted he needed someone obedient who wouldn't embarrass the Blackwood name. I knew something felt wrong, but I signed anyway. The wedding was enormous, hundreds of guests, television cameras, politicians, business leaders. Everyone stared at me like I had won the lottery. Only Adrian remained calm. After the ceremony, everyone left us alone in the mansion. He poured 2 glasses of wine, then asked quietly, "Did they pay your family enough?" The question froze me. "You knew," he smiled faintly. "They've been buying wives for me since I lost my eyesight. I've refused everyone." "Why did you accept?" I told him everything. The debts, my brother, my family. He listened without interrupting. Then he asked another question. "Would you still have married me if they hadn't paid you?" I answered honestly. "No." Instead of looking hurt, he laughed. "Good. You're the first person who's told me the truth." The following weeks surprised me. Adrian wasn't weak. He ran a billion-dollar empire despite being blind. He knew every employee by voice, every hallway by memory, every business contract by heart. The only thing he didn't know was that his own family had been stealing from him for years. His uncle controlled every financial document. His cousins handled investments. They constantly reminded Adrian, "You can't possibly manage everything yourself." One evening, while organizing old paperwork, I discovered 2 versions of the same financial report. One showed small annual profits. The other, hidden inside a locked drawer, showed billions disappearing into shell companies. Someone had been robbing Adrian for 8 years. When I showed him the documents, he became very quiet. I suspected someone. I just didn't know who. He didn't call the police. Instead, he invited the entire family to his birthday dinner. Everyone arrived smiling, confident, certain they still controlled him. Halfway through dinner, Adrian stood. He calmly thanked every family member for protecting him after his accident. Then every television in the mansion switched on. Security footage, bank records, wire transfers, signed confessions from accountants. The room fell silent. His uncle stood up. "You planned this," Adrian smiled. "No, my wife did." Every executive in the room looked toward me. I had spent 3 months secretly collecting evidence, working with forensic accountants, building an airtight case. By midnight, police officers walked into the mansion. Every person who had stolen from Adrian was arrested. The next morning, every newspaper called Adrian a genius. Nobody knew the truth. It had been my investigation. A week later, Adrian asked me to stay, not because of the contract, because for the first time since losing his eyesight, he had found someone who didn't treat him like a helpless man. 1 year later, the marriage contract expired. The lawyer placed the divorce papers on the table. Adrian pushed them toward me. "If you want your freedom, I'll sign." I looked at him, then quietly tore the papers in half. "I stayed because of the money. I fell in love because you never asked me to." He smiled. "You know, I've never actually seen your face." I laughed through my tears. "You never needed to." Years later, people still ask how a blind billionaire chose the perfect wife. The answer always makes them laugh. He didn't choose me. He simply listened when everyone else was only looking. If you were offered millions to marry a complete stranger for 1 year, would you accept the deal or risk losing everything?